Hey guys, and down here, this is going to be my chapter review to Nanatsu no Taizai, or the Seven Deadly Sins 320, and I have no Brothers in Despair. Now, this has had the same issue the last few chapters of Taizai have had. Taizai really should have finished by now. This whole collection of chapters where we're seeing more of the Demon King in Zeldris' body and Meliodas fighting against him, not really taking damage. The fight's been pretty cool, to be fair. But in reality, like, the fight should have finished. It's the same. The same outcome is going to occur, maybe with more of a detriment to Escanor in the future. This chapter ends with the proposal that the next chapter is going to be called Light, hinting at maybe the return of the sun. But yeah, I mean, I don't think we needed these extra chapters. This is essentially an addendum to the Taizai bulk, to the main Taizai story that we got. And I'm not seeing where we're gonna go with this. Like, what's the point in defeating the Demon King, but no, he's still alive, and then defeating the Demon King with no kind of extra addition to the story, or something negative occurring, like Meliodas dies or some shit like that. But then there'd be no reason for that, seeing as the story has technically already finished and all that shit. So I feel like this might be this addition to the story might be just to enforce the return of Arthur, probably the death of Escanor, but I don't see why that couldn't have been done the first time, and why they couldn't have transitioned over to Salisbury, and Salisbury Lake the first time around. But let's get down to it and talk about the chapter page by page. So the first thing we see is Meliodas screaming at Zeldris, telling him once again to kind of gather himself within his father. Sounds a bit weird, I know, but he's saying, essentially, don't let yourself be consumed by the Demon King, and we're told that he has been consumed by the Demon King, but don't listen to the Demon King, because the Demon King is a bit of an asshat. So Zeldris will definitely still have some sort of way of returning, and he's not dead. Zeldris is going to get a happy ending. Believe it. Oh my god, that was Naruto. But yeah, the Demon King, we see his new form. He's entirely clad in black with a huge drop down V-neck kind of thing. Looks super weird. Well, the V-neck I'm not a fan of. I'm just gonna say right now. But the Demon King himself looks awesome. He looks amazing. I'm not gonna lie. He looks like the most threatening villain we've seen so far. Not freaking centaur helmet dude. This is the most threatening villain we've seen so far. Although his bicep-tricep ratio is so weird, and his forearms are as big as his biceps and triceps, I have no idea whether Nakaba has actually ever seen a muscular human before. But you look at Ban, and you think, okay, the proportions are okayish, maybe leg day, but with the Demon King, his proportions, especially his upper body and his arms, actually more his arms, are just weird. He's got these two kind of shoulder pads kind of thing, but they extend outwards. They look like they could be sharp. It's a weird design, but he looks super cool because he has long flowing black hair down to like just below his shoulder blades, and he has a black beard as well that kind of juts up in two sharp points on his chin, and then he has his demon mark across his forehead in the middle, and then coming down his eyes like two Kenpachi scars, and his eyes are kind of shadowed with some darkness. It looks so good, and he's got a long ass katana, so he looks absolutely stunning. Good job by Nakaba on this character design. The Demon King comes back, basically confirming to himself and trying to put Meliodas off, essentially, that Zeldris is more or less gone. Meliodas obviously isn't listening to this, so he says he can tell that Zeldris is still alive, and he will save him. And then we get the part we all wanted to see: Meliodas versus the Demon King. Now this was awesome. This was cool. They're both attacking each other with their swords, like million slashes at the same time. They're guarding and attacking at the same time. You see the floor beneath them, while the lake beneath them actually collapse in on itself. Well, not really collapse. It's sliced in two where they stood due to the force of their attacks. And it was just a really awesome scene, seeing them fight and seeing them essentially on par with each other. But what we're told here is that the Demon King should have assumed his body and his form and his power from when he was youthful. So this is by far the most powerful form we've ever seen of the Demon King. This should be his peak physical condition and his peak magical condition. So he swipes down in a very Kenpachi versus Noitra-esque attack, 2 hands on his sword, right hand forward, slices down, and he slices straight through Meliodas, through the ground, and we see this huge chasm, or is it chasm? We see the huge chasm open up right behind Meliodas as he's sliced apart. Now that's what I was like, oh cool shit, Meliodas has been sliced apart, okay cool. And you see this kind of darkness around Meliodas, but not anything that shows that he lost an arm or anything like that. And then in the next page you see that his arms are both attached, his body doesn't seem to be recovering. He fully tanked that attack. So even the Demon King in his pristine, long, flowing black hair, awesome looking, badass mofo appearance didn't really damage Meliodas. Meliodas fully tanked the attack and lost a shirt because the Demon King fully just tried to kill him. But instead he just lost a shirt. So Meliodas returns the favor, slices at the Demon King and punches him in the face. And the Demon King tanks this as well, which is what you'd assume because he's in his most powerful condition and most powerful form ever. Meliodas continues to fight him, saying he promised Zelda he would get him to let him see Gelder again at least one more time, even though I hope it's more than one more time. They fight, the Demon King's punching him, stuff like that. And Meliodas, although getting injured, like his face has been punched a couple times, he's bleeding from his lip and all that kind of stuff, he's not actually getting his ass whooped. He's just kind of losing, and maybe that's more to do with the fact that he's not using his full power. He's got his demon mark on, his eyes are black, he's got the kind of sun-shaped mark on his head, but he's not getting his ass fully whooped as of yet. Elizabeth asks him to pull back so they can come up with a plan. The Demon King is absolutely powerful, even though, like I said, Meliodas isn't really getting whooped. And this is where the other complaint of the chapter comes in. Bloodstained Ellie, come on man, I mean, like, you're watching Meliodas get his ass kicked and you're saying that you need to come up with a plan. How about the plan is you actually do something for once? She has an opportunity here to help Meliodas out, maybe do a small Kamehameha arc or something like that, I don't know, do something. You call Bloodstained Ellie, I mean, like, remember at least what you used to be in those days. Do something that can hurt the Demon King, or at least stall him, but she doesn't do anything. Meliodas unleashes his Godslayer attack. Demon King fully absorbs the attack, shocking both Meliodas and Elizabeth that he was able to absorb all of the magic except for the slashes. So I'm assuming what this is saying is he absorbed the magical attack and not the physical attack, saying that the power of the ruler has returned to him. So he's actually able to use it in Zoldrish's body, even though technically he said he wasn't able to use the ruler in Zoldrish's body because it wasn't suitable, and now it is because he's gained his magical abilities. So apparently it was just taking some time to load in. So essentially it was just rendering in the background, and he's now fully loaded it. So we see some shiny stuff in the distance. The Demon King's distracted. You see his long flowing black beard looks awesome, and something's approaching him at tremendous speed. He gets hit across the head with this beam of light, and then we see like 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 4? Yeah, okay, so it should be like 4 or 5 more of these beams just flying straight towards the Demon King, hit the ground, and splash into the lake. And obviously it was going to be no one other than these guys. Earlier on in the chapter we had Meliodas kind of, people are viewing it as either character progression or regression. I'm of the school of thought that Meliodas' character has been regressing. The whole thing so far has been that Meliodas has had issues unleashing, or has had issues detailing his history to his friends within the sins, because he doesn't want them to get caught up in the moment. He doesn't want them to be caught up in his history and caught up in his mistakes and stuff like that with the 10 Commandments, with his father. This isn't a battle that they should have to fight just because they're his friends and teammates. These are people who they could very genuinely lose their lives against, lose everything they love, and he doesn't want to feel that. He's already seen it in Arthur, and someone he kind of viewed as probably someone he could mentor. He saw Arthur die. He knows Arthur died and then saw his dead body afterwards, and that's probably still eating away at him. But the fact remains that Meliodas, from the beginning to now, his friends have been caught up in his shit no matter what he's tried to do. They've been caught up in fighting the Demon King, they've been caught up in fighting the Commandments, they've been caught up in all of Meliodas' shit, but he still doesn't want to rely on them to help him deal with that shit. And I'm like, yeah, it was cool in the beginning because Meliodas didn't want to do it and he was being forced to do it and all that shit. And then, but the thing is, over the course of these 320 chapters, you'd think by now that Meliodas would be like, you know what? Even though I don't want to involve my friends, I know that it's the right thing to do because these guys will be there for me. They'll come clap cheeks with me. It's cool. I need to involve them. Instead, he still has that same, day one idea of I can't involve my friends. This is too dangerous. Boy, Ban was in purgatory with you. Ban is literally one of the strongest characters in Taizai. So Meliodas is there like, why did you guys come? Elizabeth is happy that they're here. And the 7 deadly sins, this was actually really cool. The double spread we got with all the sins apart from Escanor. Hint, hint, he's going to come next chapter, I assume. They're all just stood there looking down at Meliodas, saying like, why are you acting like such strangers? I thought we were friends. Did you really think we wouldn't notice that, you were fighting the freaking Demon King? And you see actually the Endura of Favor on the floor dead because they've wrecked him. So he's been off-screened. I'm not really concerned by that. I mean, like, the Endura of Fate, he was meant to be one of the Endura that was going to be the most dangerous because it was prior to this, it was a 10 commandment in some point of its life. It became an Endura, and that's why it was more powerful than the others. But it got one shot or off screen or whatever it is, and for some reason they brought the body with them as if like just to clarify to the readers that yeah, we did actually kill the Endura of Favor. But we see Ban looking down at Meliodas saying, rule number 7 of the 7 deadly sins is make sure to come together and work together as a team every now and again. And like I said, I don't like the fact that Meliodas is still going on about this thing where he's like, I can't involve these people. They've been involved anyway. If they've been forced to be involved and they have to fight and they've been getting powered up and all that stuff to fight your demons, literally your demons with you, then involve them, help them out, and do your best to keep them alive while they do their best to keep you alive, and kick all the asses that you can. That's what I would do. But Meliodas apparently didn't get that memo and hasn't got that memo for the last 320 chapters. But nonetheless, like I said, the fights and stuff were cool. The Demon King looked awesome, but the character progression I don't think was really there. I think it was more of a regression on Meliodas' part. And then the 7 deadly sins coming together at the end was pretty cool. So that's the end of the chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I will see you guys in a bit.